Welcome back to 5 and 5. We always take our time. It's just a name of the video. People always complaining. You took 8 minutes. You took 10 minutes. Well, we got to get plays out. And we is collective here because we are joined by a very special guest. Breezy is in the house. We have a lot to talk about from Props.com, the Sports and Stilettos podcast. You could follow her on Twitter. She has a lot going on at @yourhost_Breezy. And seeing you, Fourth and John as well, seeing you blow up and explode, rightfully so, on the sports betting, the gaming scene has been fantastic to watch. Congrats on all your success with Props.Cash and growing. Breezy, thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. That intro was like top tier. Thank you so much.
You're doing a lot. We got to recognize that, right? If I won't, then, who will, right? That's how I look at it. Like, if somebody's not going to say it, then you're going to have to say it for you. That's all.
Yeah, I agree. Great job. Thank you.
So tell us real quick about, what you're doing. We know we can follow you here on Twitter. If there's anywhere else you want to push, this is your place, your time to do it.
Well, Twitter is like my main social media. So follow me on there. My DMs are open. Like you said, I am partnered with Props.Cash. That was finalized back in May. So
Nice.
I'm really excited about that. Looking forward to, just helping them build their brand and, helping people win. So, on the sports betting side of things, like you said, I've been doing sports betting for probably about 3 years now. Gotten very serious over the last 2 years. And I think that's where all of my growth came from.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been an uphill battle. I'm not going to lie. It's not easy, but when you have the right tools and, you reach out to the right people, it becomes a little bit of an easier process. So
That's great to hear. Yeah,
yeah.
truly. And there are people right now that are thinking, do I make that pivot? Do I transition into this like you did a couple of years ago, like I did a couple of years ago? And to hear that, which is, it's not easy. Like winning is not easy, especially when you're giving other people bets. But look, appeal to the parent in you, right? And I am as well, where there's this sense of, I don't know what the word is, right? Like, I don't think it's pride. Pride is probably more for your kid, right? Your blood.
Yeah.
But there's this sense of like, I don't know what the word is, but it's fulfillment. Like you're doing somebody a solid by helping them win because they're coming to you for something. And like there is a good feel, I think, with that.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I'm not going to lie, I definitely try to get the plays out, at least an hour before game time or whatever. But, as a parent, life happens. And, sometimes you just, you can't get it out there. So, yeah, I try to do that as much as possible. And it really warms my heart when I see people win with me. And, even if they don't play something that I play and they still win something, different, it's a really great feeling.
Yep, absolutely. I love it. All right, I got to get you before we start the clock. We run through this. We're going to hit some baseball. Breezy's in the house. Philadelphia. You see it behind me. You see it behind her. You see it on her. I love it. Right? The Eagles are beginning today. I'm going to take the obvious. All right, take the obvious out because it's easy. All right, and you're a seasoned pro here at this. So forget the guy behind me because that's the easy answer. The guy behind me is like number one. Not only his jersey, but the answer. What is the most what is getting your body the most excited about Eagles football this year without Jalen Hurts in the picture? Because we know that's the easy one for everybody, including me.
Oh man. Just seeing how much this offense and defense can improve from last year. I mean, I pretty much, if you look through my Twitter, it's probably hard to find now, but last off season, I did, an episode and did a prediction on what the Eagles were going to do. And it was pretty much spot on. Jalen improved from the pocket tremendously. They got to the Super Bowl. I didn't think they would get that far. That was, in my fantasy, but it was great to see them, take control of the regular season the way that they did, to see the defense bounce back from being a sticks defense and really putting those hard hits on people week in and week out. It's tremendous. So I'm excited to see what, Sean Desai is going to do with this talent and most importantly, those draft picks. Nolan Smith, that's my guy. I cannot wait to see him in midnight green on the field, hitting some quarterbacks.
I love that. Definitely love that you mentioned Nolan Smith. We've seen steals in this draft with the Eagles the past couple of years, and outside of an injury that didn't really seem to be talked about after the draft, it was like, okay, well, why else did he drop? It was because of the injury. Well, is the injury a big deal? No. Well, why did he drop? It was because of the injury. Was the injury a big deal? No. So it's like the Eagles got probably the steal of the draft with him.
Oh, yeah.
No, I love it. I love it. All right,
Absolutely.
We're gonna get some baseball in. And then we'll talk about the real stuff, which is the NFL around the corner. You ready?
Yes.
You ready?
Yes.
All right. We'll start the clock. We'll go. I'll kick things off here. Let me open up. We're on DK, but we remind you, of course, we have everything going. I'll tell you at the end on BetMGM, this awesome deal for the Discord as well. But let me begin short and sweet here. Chris Bryant going up against Trevor Williams. You see 27 total appearances, 20 counted at bats. He's hitting 350 career. Now, I get it. He's been walked a lot. But I think in this particular setting at Washington, going up against this bottom end team here, there aren't going to be many walk opportunities, even with Trevor Williams here. So I don't think that it's going to negate him at least getting some hittable pitches. We've seen him connect 4 singles, 2 jacks in these 20 at bats against Trevor Williams. So I'll start off, Breezy, over 1.5 total bags at plus 110 for Chris Bryant on the Rockies. Now you've got something juicy here coming up.
I like that. Yeah. So I'm a big, I like to stick to what I know. And, I don't really like to dabble in things that don't make sense to me. So for this one, Kyle Gibson over 1.5 walks. Over 1.5 walks against Philadelphia tonight. The Phillies really need to get it together. They need to get on base. They need to start being a little bit more patient at the plate. And for Kyle Gibson, he's cleared it in 8 of the last 12 road games. And he's 14 of 21 on the season so far, which is 67%. So, pitching about 6 innings, a little less than 100 pitches per game. I think that the Phillies can take advantage of, his road woes and walk a few times tonight.
So Gibson, this is going to be a 3-leg parlay here for us, right? So Gibson is the first leg. You've got Rich Hill second, right?
Yes, Rich Hill. This Padres team they're absolutely incredible to watch, and they're absolutely a pain in the butt to play. So
beautiful way to put it.
Yeah. Rich Hill, 2.5 earned runs. He's San Diego's a top 10 offense. They're ranked 7th right now, and they've got Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Tatis. It's a stacked offense. And Rich Hill, I mean, he's 12 of 20 on the year for that, and 8 of the last 10 overall. So I'm sure that the Padres are going to get some walks off of him tonight, just so he can avoid getting those home runs, those hits, doubles, all of that. So I think he's going to walk a few just to be on the safe side.
Love it. All right. So that's the second leg. Now the third leg to bring this home. And what does this sucker hit at? 376 you found.
Yes. Corbin Burns, over 1.5 walks. He's facing Cincinnati. They're 5th in walks versus right-handed pitchers this year.
Wow.
He's walked 4 in the last matchup against them, and that was on July 7th. So 7 of 9, he's cleared this at home, which I thought was very interesting. So he walks more people at home than he does on the road. He's walking people at like a 78% clip. So, very, very crazy. And then he's 14 of 20 on the year, which is 70%. So I thought that was a steal, essentially, to get him at that line.
Yeah, I agree, especially seeing those splits like that. Didn't realize it was that glaring. And Props.Cash, that's what you have, all the research, the numbers that comes in.
Yes, sir.
I
Yep.
love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right, so that's your 3 legs. So we'll recap here. Brian over 1.5 total bags. The 3-legger from Breezy over 1.5 walks from Gibson, 2.5 earned runs from Rich Hill, 1.5 walks from Corbin Burns. I'm going to come right back to that Rich Hill game, and if I get plus 105 for Manny Machado to go over 1.5 bags, I tempted. I'm sure like you to play the home run prop. You can find a better number on FanDuel than DK, but only 13 appearances, 12 at-bats career against Rich Hill. He's hitting .417 with 2 jacks. There are 2 doubles in that. That's power. So this is power at the plate. And you mentioned it. San Diego, as fun as they are, frustrating, I get it, but this is a team that's loaded. It's going to be really difficult to just pick your spots to pitch around, guys. Machado against Rich Hill. I'll take Machado all day. Give me him over 1.5 total bags at plus 105.
I love it. I agree 100%. That's a great pick.
Are we just fading Pittsburgh entirely today?
Probably. Yeah.
Run line minus 130. We can shop that. I'm sure. But it would at least the first 5, it looks like. I'm going to sneak one more in here. Steven Matz over 4.5 Ks at minus 120. I think anything below minus 130, to be honest, with the break even is fine. Yes, I get it that the Arizona Diamondbacks are not loaded with strikeouts, but Matz is going to be out there. As bad as things have looked, as shitty as they've looked for St. Louis, this can be a bright spot to get to 5 Ks, probably in that 5 to 6 innings. I don't think it gets lit up, so I'll slide that in there. Last baseball, I promise. Now we can move to the fun stuff. You ready?
Yes.
I know. Now, I've got one big one, and I figured I would save that for the end. You've got 3 NFL player prop futures that we want to hit. I just want to throw one in here real quick if I can. Just one to think about. I want to get your thoughts. It's totally on the spot here, Bree. So I know that we didn't mention this ahead of time, but DeMar Hamlin, rightfully so, is going to be a heavy favorite right now at minus 285 comeback of the player of the year. I get it. Like, rightfully so, DeMar should be celebrated. He should be recognized. I mean, what he went through, nobody should go through, and the NFL has definitely honored him. He will be honored throughout the year, and I don't think he'll just be forgotten. But at the end of the day, it's going to come down to quarterbacks putting up numbers. I mean, even Breece Hall can kind of sneak in there if he's healthy. Just a quick question. What if Sean Payton and Russell Wilson work out? At 20-1 for a comeback player of the year, I just think that's so high of a number to ignore right now.
It is a really high number, and I do like Sean Payton as a head coach. I really do. But I feel like it may take more than 1 year for them to really click.
That's fair.
It's a lot of
adjustments. Probably why he's sitting at 20-1.
Right. It's a lot of adjustments on both ends for them. But I mean, it's definitely worth a sprinkle. I would say that it's definitely worth a sprinkle. So I wouldn't mind that.
We'll see if you like my last one, if it's worth a sprinkle or not. and I get it. My thing is, like, you come from, like, if you've ever had a really horrific boss, anybody after that is good. Right?
Yeah.
That's from Nathaniel Hackett. All right, Breezy, take it away. You've got these 3, and then we'll end on an award from me. But you've got 3 really good NFL player futures to keep an eye on.
Yes. So the first one is DeAndre Swift. He's coming to Philadelphia. He's a Georgia Bulldog. You know, he's coming back home. It's a fantastic reunion here. I'm taking him over the 500.5 total rush yards for the season. He's probably going to be the feature back. So he's going to start a majority of the games, and he has cleared this number. I mean, in almost every season that he's played in Detroit, which is great. Yep. You know, even without playing full seasons. So he's only playing like 13 or 14 games, and he's clearing this number like with no issue. So I really like that. I think that the Eagles are going to make him a priority in the backfield, with this being his, you know, a new team, things like that. And they're also going to keep him healthy, or try to keep him as healthy as possible with the running back rotation that we have here in Philadelphia. So over 500.5 total rush yards for the season.
Great number right there. Oh, look at that. Another local tie for you here on the other
Oh
side.
yeah. You guys, anybody who knows me knows that I love defense. Love, 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 love it. And last year, I actually mentioned Darius Slay and James Bradbury for their total interceptions for the year. And I think it was set at, I think it was 2.5 for each of them last year as well. And they cleared it, no problem. So I'm going to take Darius Slay again this year. I think that these other teams are going to try to pick at that secondary and go after him. He's a little bit older in NFL terms, and they're probably going to hope that their offensive players can get a step on him. But I don't think so. We're talking about big play Slay here.
That's
like,
right.
you know, he's not. No, it's not going to happen. He's going to win the matchup, and definitely going to take his over on total interceptions for the year.
All right, now let's have some fun here because there's a little bit of conflict. Now, I'm not fading this number so much as if it hits, my bet is cooked. If my bet hits, your bet is cooked. So we're not in direct conflict, but a little bit like we're veering, if that makes sense. You take it away, and I'll close it.
Okay, so I'll say this first. Dak Prescott won me a lot of money with his interceptions last year.
Fair enough.
And it was great. You know, he put money in my pocket. I'm very happy about that. And he came out and said, now I don't know the direct words or anything, but essentially, I'm not throwing more than 10 interceptions this year. Okay. But did he ask anybody else on the offense if he was going to throw 10 interceptions? I don't think so. So I'm taking the over, and this number actually went down. It was 13.5 before. And I think it was at plus 100. So still going to take it. I still like the number over 12.5 interceptions for Dak at plus 105. He averages 10 over the last 4 years, and he's been in double digits 3 out of the last 4 years. So I don't see anything that's preventing him from getting over this number, except for, you know, his players actually playing. But there's turmoil in Dallas right now. Which makes me very happy. And where there's turmoil, there's smoke, there's, you know, all kinds of stuff going on. So definitely taking this number, and I will also sprinkle on him having the most interceptions in the league.
Wow.
And that is at plus 1,000. He was tied last year with Josh Allen, I believe, with 15 interceptions on the year, and he played 4 less games.
Yeah, so, last year was a disaster, rightfully so, to call that out. Okay, look, at plus money for a guy who was right there at the top. I don't know what Allen's number is, but I imagine that it's probably hovering around that, if not maybe even something along those lines. Look, a lot of the futures are, or some of the futures, and maybe there's disagreement with this, that's fine. But for me, futures are also about where how somebody is being priced to where they can be, right? Like you want to get ahead of numbers halfway through the season. So because of everything you laid out, and I'm not arguing that because the numbers represent it, especially the double digits 3 of the last 4 years, because of what you laid out with Dak individually, his number should probably be closer to about where Justin Fields is, maybe even Tua, like in that 20 to 21 range. But he has been, in my opinion, devalued for the MVP. Look, what needs to happen for this? And first off, I want you back with me. So hopefully this wasn't like the final tour where you're just like, man, this dude is just out here.
As long as you're not a Dallas fan.
Cool. I grew up going to tire fires. My uncle dragged me from New York City, from 13th and Dickinson to tire fires as a child. No, I've been horrified as an Eagles fan all my life. But with that said, this is just about value here. And I think at 25 to 1, we're in a similar range of a guy in Tua who has trouble standing up, Deshaun Watson, who needs a lot more than just his play in order for Cleveland to win games. Look, Dallas is going to be there if, in fact, they do overcome and find a way. Look, that offense numbers, even if he has 10 picks, Dak can get you 35, 40 TDs if that offense is cooking. I'm not rooting for Dak Prescott to succeed, but Bree, it's hard for me to ignore a number that I think has been at least devalued at 25-1.
I agree. In order
That's all I need.
Yeah, and
Not a
in
fight.
order for Dak to actually win this, like he would have to put his team on his back and get them through the playoffs. I feel like that's he would have to be like extraordinary. Like he would have to be like almost Pat Mahomes like,
Yeah.
in a sense. And I don't know that he can do that with what's around him. So I feel like he may have had a better chance when oh my gosh,
Zeke?
what's his name was still there? Zeke and the coach.
Tight end you're talking about. No,
the coach.
God,
no, I can't remember his name.
not McCarthy.
No, the one who was calling the plays. I think Dallas honestly is going on a downward spiral, if I'm being honest.
Well, that's another thing too. Like
with McCarthy,
you're getting. But how often have you seen that, right? Where a guy has not done something in 8 of their last 10, and everybody's like, "Nah, he's not going to do it," and then they surprise you. So that's all. It was just a number to look at. By all means, I'm going to tail your player props before I tail Dak as the MVP. But I just wanted to mention it. By all means. All right. Speaking of mention, you've spent way too much time for you. I'm sure you're super busy. This has been educational from your end. It's been entertaining with you here. So we've learned a lot from trends and just what to look at from both baseball and football. Let's throw it up there one more time at your host _Breezy is how you can follow Bree across the board. But please remind everybody what you're doing from life to where we can find you across the board here.
Well, I'm a mom. My daughter is 7.
Yep,
she's going on 16. It's an absolute madhouse here. But I'm also working on my master's in psychology, so I should be graduating at some point next summer, which is great.
Awesome.
And Props.Cash has been tremendous, and I personally have been using their site for a year and a half, and this was way before the affiliation and all of that. So it's definitely a great tool to have, to utilize. Everything is in one place. It's absolutely fantastic. And, like on my profile, use promo code Breezy. You get 25% off
there you go.
Your first month when you sign up. I feel like right now is like the best time to sign up because we literally have nothing but baseball. But those future bets and things like that, all of the information is going to be there. It's going to be a great NFL season, and there's a lot of things in the pipeline for the NFL season, which I can't wait to use. So definitely a perfect time to get in, navigate, know how to use it. That way you can hit the ground running when the NFL starts.
Love it. Thank you. I got to remind the world before we get out of here about BetMGM. It's below. You can sign up. We'll give you 2 free months of the Odd Shopper Premium Discord. You get your first bet back. So take anything that Bree gave you here today and your first bet back up to a G, depending on what you want to put in, anywhere from 10 to 1,000, 21 or older. Gambling problem, as you know, call 1-800-GAMBLER. And that's it. That's it. Easy, right? We'll see you soon, hopefully, right?
Yeah. Oh, of course. I'll be back. Don't worry. I'll be back.
Have a great week.
Thanks.